Well, we brilliantly had a little insight there into the early days of States. It was known as the XKE, so it followed the XK 150, but here in the UK we knew it, of course, as the E-Type, and it was launched in 1961 at the Geneva Motor Show in March of that year. An incredible story surrounding that motor show where Bob Berry, the PR guy for Jaguar, had taken the first one down there, been inundated with the number of journalists that wanted to ride in it, and then sent for Norman Jewis via Sir William Lyons to take a second car, a convertible 77RW, down to Geneva, a trip that he did in just 17 hours. Just one of the sort of mythical stories we love about the launch of the E-Type. Of course, Norman Jewis, that famous test driver for Jaguar that had been with them for so many years, famous for doing that incredible run down to Geneva. And it is an icon, isn't it, of the 1960s, the E-Type, and it ran all the way through into the following decade, the 1970s, eventually being equipped with the V12 engine. An example we have here, a Series 3 V12, looking very nice in blue, sir. Hello, what's your name? How long have you had your V12?
30 years.
So you're just getting used to it, finding your feet.
Just getting ready.
And why did you go for the V12 version over the straight six?
I don't know yet. Living out of engines, therefore it had to be a V12.
You're showing off, that's what you were doing, weren't you?
Yep. Why not?
Brilliant, and of course they are really sought after cars, as we all know, the E-Types, but the V12 is starting to come up in popularity, we notice, the later cars, because of course the styling changed from those dainty rear lights above the bumper line, the lights in the end going underneath the bumper line, that V12 engine being introduced towards the end of its run as well. And then of course later on, after the E-Type was finished in 1975, arrived the next car, and that was also V12 powered, but it wasn't really a true successor to the E-Type in the sense of it being an out-and-out sports car. This was a cruiser, this was a GT, this was a car to take you to your nice chateau in the south of France in ultimate comfort, performance and speed, and the XJS was launched and was loved, really, right the way through until 1993, when production finally ended. A massive run of nearly a quarter of a century for this car in production. And in 1984, an anniversary, exactly 40 years ago, this car, well not this car, but a car like it, prepared by TWR with a V12, won the European Touring Car Championship, and that turned things around for Jaguar that year. It was also, of course, 1984, the year that Jaguar became independent from British Leyland and were in charge of their own destiny once again. And the XJS, now once considered a modern classic, is now firmly a true classic Jaguar, very sought after. And this gentleman looks very cosy in his. How long have you had it?
30 years.
30 years, fantastic. Well, when you buy an XJS, you never want to let it go, do you?
Well, no. Basically, it's like the other Jaguar car, none of them would go. But I did a TV program where Les Dennis drove this, and he was doing a test against the Mercedes. This wiped the floor with a Mercedes, and all I saw all day was a smile on his face. About sums it up, I think.
I think that does sum it up very nicely indeed. Of course, as Jaguar went through the 70s and 80s in terms of saloon cars, the XJ6 arrived in 1969, which was really a change to the big flagship saloon like the Mark 9 I looked at earlier on. Cars beginnings sharing a lot of parts with Ford Honda. Sorry, microphone's breaking. Can't say it, but it's not, people are unkind about these cars, and it's really not, because in there, when you're driving it, it is definitely a Jaguar, isn't it, completely through and through. And very sought after classic cars now, the X-Type, they're having their day at last, aren't they? You've had this how long?
5 years.
Brilliant, as you should. Keep enjoying it and keep X-Types on the road. I feel a campaign coming on to save X-Types because we're losing them hand over fist at the minute, but what a wonderful car to see here from a different era of Jaguar, all to 12s and the XJSs and the E-Types there, the wonderful V8s and the new XKs that we have at the front, lovely XK8s. I'll just give you a little heads up on what's still to come this afternoon in the live arena. Cambridge and Oxford Club anniversary with John Lakey is next. Then we're going to do cars from the 70s, 80s, 90s and up to the present day. We're going to combine that into one slot to take us up to 3 o'clock, where I'm going to leave the live arena and run and dash over to Avon Hall. That's the hall just behind the Cherish Vehicle Insurance Services there, where I'll be giving out the concourse prizes and awards for pride of ownership as well. That's at 3 o'clock, so do stick around for that. Also, don't forget our trade hall is open right the way through this afternoon. Swing X have just finished another one of their sessions in the Kildare Hall there, and all of our crafters are up there. It's not just car parts on offer in the trade halls here at the Inter Club International. There's crafters up there, there's fashion and food as well. And of course we've got the motorsport zone still up there with some stuff driving displays for you at the very top of the showground at the foot of the Malvern Hills. If you've enjoyed this weekend, by the way, please do spread the word. This is a historic moment for us here in the classic car community. It's the first time that over 40 car clubs have come together to hold a joint international weekend here at the Three Counties Showground Malvern. And this, I think, shows us what the future could be. Huge variety of cars being enjoyed by a huge variety of people, and a collaboration between clubs to put on a really good weekend for enthusiasts that is to the benefit of the entire classic car movement. Working together is where it's at. As our advertising and promotions in the lead up to this event stated, we are stronger together. So thank you so much for everyone supporting this event. This is the start of something very important in history, and I think hopefully if with your support we'll grow and get this bigger and more important for the future of classic cars. That's the future. Back to the past though, as we're going to transform and move ourselves back into 1954 and smack bang into the BMC era of motor vehicles. And I am going to take a brief pause and have a slug of water and sit back with all of you guys and listen to a good friend of mine here who's going to talk us through the anniversary of the Cambridge and Oxford Owners Club, who have been here in force today and have been very much a part of making this event.